This is only 60 pounds.
60 pounds, huh?
Is intended for
Interesting.
the 66-pound robot Falls. Although Neo is capable of lifting up to 150 pounds.
It's a lot of weight.
It's not as superhuman as you think.
I have to say this. Technosexual exists. Well, not literally. Maybe in the future it will. So, Deon, you know what? You want to talk about this, huh? You do. Absolutely. It's 10/11, the 29th of October, on a Wednesday. And what you see on the left is an adorable NEO robot. And by the way, thumbs up for Grand Star 55 that was on the live stream today. Because this is his first time here, even though all of you were asleep. Also, this is like a random fan bot. Well, I'm thinking about Futurama, right? That says 2025. And this is one of my image, including the Neo that I found on Pinterest. We had 2 subs today, even though the view count seems a little bit off, I think. So, basically, and by the way, I still miss Wesley a lot. I think I do have an alien fetish. Well, stomach-wise, because it's shaped like an alien, I guess. Weird, I know, maybe it's because I'm up about religion and, you know, especially since that's really coming in India, for example, right? That has to do with like Hinduism because of yoga and whatnot. Okay, call me crazy, but being crazy maybe is blissful. Crazy is confidential. I don't know. Along those lines, it does have to do with killing someone. This video, or that I was reacted to, right? Because I would have done this on the live stream, but whatever. Is by Asmongo TV of Home Robots Are Here, right? ... And this was uploaded 4 hours ago. And basically what you see on the left side is supposed to be Neo, right? Which is this adorable short, well, he's not short statured. Again, I wanted to say this, I'm gonna be honest. The robot is shorter than me. I mean, shorter. Scratch that. Taller than me. Yes, I'm that short. Okay, and it weighs 66 pounds, which is really interesting because, of course, it's a robot because it has wires and whatnot, right? Just gadgets, right? That's basically its system, like its body, right? And I guess it's invented by some Scandinavian inventor. He sounds Scandinavian. He sounds like Norwegian or Danish. I don't know. I wasn't paying much attention, right? I'm just saying this because why not do it video randomly? Also, if anyone is ever curious about my Nelly Korea fetish, well, it will be in the description because I had to move on. I'm still upset, right? I'm not thinking about it as much, but the jealousy and concerning about Wesley is still there. Just watch my video about my crush, or he blocked me, and you'll see why. Okay? As someone that's in a spectrum, okay, it's bad enough as it is to live with being in a spectrum. Not many of us human beings are ready for robots yet. Based off the way our people are reacting. Now, as an Arizonan, okay, that is on the spectrum, I want my human beings to understand, we evolve on a daily basis, right? Think about Pokemon, when you have Metapod, that is in this shell, okay? That doesn't have much movement, but it still has feelings, right? Yeah, I know, you probably thinking, Deon, robots don't have feelings. Well, some of them can. At least I see it that way. At least in the future, we're going to get to that point. Yeah, maybe that's why, because I don't want to abuse machines, because they would break and they basically would shock you and you would die. The same way if you're in if you're in a relationship, you're abusing your boyfriend, don't be surprised he'll put you in a headlock. I know you're probably thinking, Deon, you're not making any sense. Well, yeah, I'm not supposed to make sense in order for this to make sense, okay? Basically, and by the way, I'm sorry for all of you can't really see the flag. I just found on Pinterest. It's a fan-made flag. It's a technosexual flag for people. Well, at least I think it is. When people have, well, not the sex, okay, but in the future, I won't be surprised to get to that point. Will you have like an obsession with technology and gadgets? I'm kind of one of them. So, I don't know, I thought this flag is cool because, let's just say, it refers to basically the texture of a machine, robot, right? I mean, there's no definition, but my experience on this machinery, you know, like how it rests or something, you know, just different types, from D2 to that gold robot from Star Wars, and basically the phones that we use. Sorry, I'm going a little bit nutty, okay, because I don't care, because I'm trying to be open-minded here, or heart-minded, which means I'm trying to be kindness of a huge heart of basically sharing my thoughts, okay? And let's just say certain countries, okay, or at least 1 or 2, I think. Think about Asia. Now, let me explain, okay? Japan. They've been doing this for a while because at restaurants and whatnot, they are way more advanced than us, right? they basically do have those adorable they have those restaurants where they basically have like robots that would serve you your meals and your beverages, and you would say hi to them, right? And they got like the little cute cat face, etc., whatnot. They've been doing it for a while. And also in China, Tongdoyo, they basically have a city that will be Dao, okay, that I didn't know at the time. Shenzhen, I don't know where it's located in China. This is only one city, by the way. Okay, it's not like it's everywhere. It's basically the most futuristic place, right? So think about, let's just say, compared to Shenzhen and let's see, I don't know, Kabul, Afghanistan, way different. Kabul is also, you're in the late 1800s, while in Shenzhen you're basically in the maybe past mid 21st century, right? It actually makes sense. Where you basically would just use the typical credit cards, right? And you have robots that would, or at least like robotic arms that would fill up coffee for you, etc. And even the drones. Not to mention drones, right? And I'm sure that when we first had drones, it was pretty terrifying, wasn't it? I mean, it's hard to believe that we had drones for what, a decade now? Not to mention the invention of AI since after I left high school a few years afterwards. And also basically smartphones, hint, that we basically use every day. The Switch 2, even though that's a little bit different, that you could basically take it anywhere with you because it's a handheld console. What other type of technologies that basically some of us basically have on this earth that others would basically be viewed as cavemen because they live in underdeveloped countries, if you know what I mean, right? And do not mistreat other human beings just because they live in a different country than you. Okay, I think this is pretty cool. Now, of course, I know there's some issues like Asmongold's reaction. You know, I know he may sound sexist, right? I know he's just doing jokes that, oh, we have women working for us, you know, because of how women are known for being maids, even though men can be maids as well, right? And by the way, for men out there, definitely treat your women fairly. And from our women out there, definitely don't push your men as though they're emotionless humans. They're not, okay? I'm sure even robots have more emotion than, well, okay, that doesn't sound right. Well, you know what I mean, okay? Well, some men may act like robots, but at least they have emotions. I'm trying to give like a little difference here, right? Because basically what I've been seeing, right, is supposed to be a robot that helps you at home, right? Whatever you need to do the laundry, or you need someone to actually open the door for you, right? And I just say this, Japan, I'm sure, I won't be surprised that they'd be doing this without us knowing about it. Again, I don't really catch up with all this media stuff because you need to understand, right? Especially in Asia, for crying out loud, okay? Maybe this is why I'm so open-minded with this stuff. In Japan, they have a really old population. A lot of Japanese people are elderly age. And maybe this is why they're so advanced in technology, plus they work so hard, many hours, okay? And they do have quite a bit of technology, okay? Especially for the elderly, okay? Imagine if you basically don't have anyone. Maybe you have a robot you could talk to, maybe. Or at least we're not there yet, okay? It reminds me of that episode, Simpsons did it, when basically Lisa met some professor. I forgot what episode it was. I don't think it was Professor Frank. In Haunted Glendale, when they basically have those adorable robotic seals for the elderly to basically talk to because they're depressed and they're suicidal and they're, what's to say, their husbands / wives and or wives died. Okay, again, I understand people are afraid of technology. It's totally fine. This don't tarnish it, right? Because as human beings, we're trying to make this world a decent place, right? The same way that I'm sure a lot of us back when I was in middle school, if I'm knowing about it, that we're terrified of smartphones, right? Or basically of certain video games, especially for parents, because of how they're thinking, wow, these video games are violent, right? The Grand Theft Auto, or basically, I don't know, Metal Gear Solid, something like that, because we didn't have those back then. You know, as human beings, we basically evolve. We're supposed to evolve. That's basically the cycle of life, in my opinion, right? And to see something like this, it's really cool because, again, for someone, especially since my grandmother basically has dementia, for crying out loud. You know, heck, who knows? What if my mother basically cannot help our grandmother? You know, she'll be passed away, I'm sure, way before this is even a thing, right? Because my grandmother is, I think 78. She's getting up there, right? Because my mother and my aunt had to take care of her. She cannot bathe herself, right? She basically forgets everything now. She's in that age, okay? Because there's no cure for dementia. I hope to Buddha's belly before I die on this earth, before I get reincarnated as a dog somewhere in Nepal, we would have a cure for dementia. Because basically, it's like I looked at, at least when I watched Data Vito, even though I do not like how he has to use AI images. I'm not a fan of it, but it's whatever. That people with dementia, they're basically not as educated compared to a 6-year-old. That's depressing, because it's that bad. It basically eats up your brain. Imagine you're a zombie, but you don't have rabies, right? Rabies, well, there's no cure for that. If you get infected, you're dying. You're dead. You're dead, right? Imagine that for people that are elderly, they don't have anyone. They don't have any resources, you know? This could be helpful in the future, in my opinion. Right? Not to mention, I just noticed a long time ago, back when I was in middle school for the elderly, they had, man, they need to back again. Like when you had to dial for 911, well, it basically immediately dials 911 when you're having a heart attack, right? Or something happened to you. Because I know a lot of people that live by themselves, they basically have the lack of help that they need, right? We have that. Right? And that's back when I was in middle school, for crying out loud. I'm trying to think about what other inventions we actually have. From drones to basically smartphones. You know, I mean, not everything needs to be advanced, but you know, like this some gadgets that basically helps us as humans, right? Again, we're 1/4 of the 21st century, right? Of course, this stuff would be around at this time, right? We had to do our best to be a little bit more open-minded. Not to mention, oh, yeah, that's right. 2 more things I want to add, okay? From an Arizona point of view, okay, so for a lot of you, you may be thinking I'm nuts, okay? Because a lot of people don't even know that Arizona is a place. Yes, we do exist. We're basically above Mexico, right? We have 7.4 million people. We're the Grand Canyon state. We're the 6th largest state in the whole United States of America. We're the size of Italy. And we have the Sonoran deserts here, right? Etc. We basically have self-driving cars here, even though they're far from basically being this... I don't like to say the word perfect, right? They're far from being complete, I like to call it, right? Because of how they may accidentally lock someone in. Don't worry, it's not like you'll get killed and you have some chainsaw coming out of your system, or, you know, training your body, sawing your body, similar to that episode from the Treehouse of Horror of The Simpsons, when the Simpsons basically live in that and Homer basically lost the best brain, and the basically wants to kill himself because Patty and Selma were yeah, today on the DMV, yeah, I'm just sexy guy that basically want to suck my vagina, you know, something like that, right? You know what I mean? I love The Simpsons, right? Simpsons did it. Matt Groening's a genius. The Simpsons don't get enough credit these days. Okay? It's a Waymo car. We have it in my state, a couple of them in California, one in Texas, and then one in Dumbo State, which is a really great viewer of mine, right? You see them in the live streams for the ones that are interested. Hope to Buddha's belly that this video does well. You know, I doubt it does, but dear, you're doing your best, hon. Ugh, right? So far, it's only 5 American cities. I think they may have some in the Northeast, but I don't know yet, unless there's something else I was thinking of. Other countries don't have that yet, except for like Japan and China. That's it. I think South Korea has it as well, though, because they're real advanced, right? And technically, we're not that advanced compared to many places around the globe. But yet again, though, we have self-driving cars here, especially for underage teens that, you know, want to meet their friends, or they had to get to school if their parents had to work. And this is for someone back when I was in high school. My mother had to work a lot of hours, and I had to wake myself up to school so that I won't get late and possibly get suspended and maybe perhaps expelled, you know, etc. Because Waymos, again, they're self-driving cars that will take you to your destination. And yes, I basically met a lesbian couple that loved Jack Skellington, aka The Nightmare Before Christmas, that basically took one just so that they could be in a safer place, right? I think the reason why certain places don't have it maybe is because, well, they haven't reached to their destination yet, and or maybe the high crime rate, even though crime rate can be a little iffy here, but nothing crazy, right? I don't know. That's just something. I'm surprised Mexico City doesn't even have self-driving cars yet, but here in Phoenix, though, we do. You know, that is something that we have in technology that is kind of like AI related, right? And by the way, I did not drove in it, but I sat in it. In the Waymo car, it's really comfortable. So it's supposed to be detect for people that are pedestrians or basically on the road so that they don't get hit. Okay? And by the way, I love China. Okay? If you don't like China, that's fine. But I just want to share this because a couple of my viewers I have, Richard, Pomney, are Chinese. Okay? If you want to say something awful about China, well, don't go to China because, well, some cities, they're pretty well advanced. Right? Also, one more thing I do need to add when it comes to technology, at least of this topic, right? Or at least from the inventions. We basically, here in Phoenix, which is pretty cool, I know people were kind of worried about there be losing their time ago because, again, we have self-driving cars, that we still got Ubers and Lyfts, right? Basically, taxis are way much better. Screw taxis because they're way too damn expensive. Uber and Lyft, that's what we have for that. Plus the self-driving cars, right? That we have here in Phoenix, okay? Excuse me. Basically, it's supposed to be this adorable little DoorDash AI robots, so to speak, right? That would basically drop off your delivery, right? We have that, okay? And the reason why, let's just say no offense to my Californians, but you sometimes suck. I'm sorry, we have a love and hate love relationship with Californians. You can see why, okay? Because from the videos that I looked up that I did share to one of my viewers, right? I'm so thirsty though, but I want to drink up my apple juice. Okay, I got this water, you know, it's not cold. That, like, let's just say in LA, they would just damage those little poor little, you know, machines that are just trying to do their job because that's how they're programmed. Because Los Angelians, where you want to define them, with ooga booga, ooga booga, right, on them. Yeah, you're not humans. You're just deformed monsters that don't have a darn decent brain. Because, oh, you don't like the machine. You wonder why, let's just say maybe Japan or China are seen as really safe, and some of you Americans are like cavemen. You wonder why. I'm sorry, you gotta know the reality, okay? I've seen those videos. It's embarrassing. At least where I'm from, that doesn't happen here. Yes, we got graffiti or whatever in some of our bus stops, but at least we don't do it on machines. That's just stupid. You know, that's the stupidest thing I can ever think of. Do it on walls or something, okay? Do that instead if you're not bored. Oh, to Buddha, yeah, this should still be recording. Sorry, I should have, whatever. I just hope the audio is still going through because I did extended the technosexual vibe so that the audio can be recording here. But basically, what I'm just trying to say is that since we are evolving as species, right? Especially since I did look at my mother. Oh yeah, by the way, I got more groceries. Even though, yay. Pardon me. At the end, it's alright. And by the way, burping fetishes do exist. I don't have one, but a handful of people out there do. Nothing wrong with that. Again, I like men that stretch and navels and whatnot. I think that's hot. So, Wesley, that's one of them. I miss him a lot. Just had to get that out of my system. Very quick, I actually have burritos, a spaghetti meal in the freezer, in my freezer, my mini fridge, and still some sausages left. But of course, that's all my mother can get now because, well, she's doing her best to work and she's low on money and whatnot, right? We do our best to get by. I just want to say that we are poor, but not dangerously poor, just poor. Okay? I forgot what I was about to say. Well, what I'm trying to say is that people do not... Okay, here's what I want to say, okay? Technology doesn't always have to be advanced, okay? Sometimes I feel that I'm missing out because I don't have the iPhone 18 or... Okay, there's 17 iPhones? I thought it's like iPhone 34 or something, right? I don't know how far we're going to keep going with iPhones. I'm not really a fan of iPhones, but I love Apple Macs, right? Because I have one right here. I have a Samsung Galaxy S4 phone. Yes, it's a K-man phone compared to Samsung, what, S22 or something, right? Those phones are cool and all, but I still love my old one, and that's from 2013-ish, right? We came a long way when it comes to cell phones and technology. And for people to basically, it's so funny because someone said Bangladesh in Asmin's chat. I'm just gonna make up a name. It's something Cat Village. Anyway, I don't know. That's not a real name, okay? I don't know who it was because I missed it, right? And whatever the heck clanger means. I just don't understand all the, pun intended, gear gears being grind of people's brains that, oh yeah, this is the Terminator, this is, iRobot. Like, really though? Okay, tell me, when I was in kindergarten, did Y2K happen? No. When I was in high school, did 2012 happen? As in the movie? No. Okay, did Day After Tomorrow? 2004, when I was Greg's son's age, did New York froze over and got flooded? No. Okay, these are not real movies. Yes, these are cool, like predictions or whatever. Or if the world basically had natural disasters, that's how it'd be alike. No, not everything is true. Sorry, some people get on my gears. Okay, because they like to be all pouty, like, oh yeah, AI is bad. Some AI can be bad, yes, but if it's about Googling or if it comes to like technology, make sure that someone has cancer. Those are the AIs that we need. Okay, literally. Or they got Siri that you have on your iPhone, right? Or let's see, the one that they have for Samsung, because my phone has it, it's probably outdated. We had those for years, right? We literally had other types of technologies that people want to basically whine about. If you don't like it, don't buy it. Okay, it is that simple. You don't need to buy anything expensive. No. What I'm trying to say is this really adorable robot, right, would basically help for people that not only have old age, okay, or maybe for someone that has disabilities or living by themselves, right, that may have the money. You don't know, okay? It's supposed to make our lives better. Yes, we do stupid mistakes. Of course, I don't like that. Yay, Sam Altman that invented the sword too, because that isn't benefiting us. Because what? They're supposed a cool cat driving a car and the police say, get on the ground, you little cat. Stupidest thing you ever invented. Honestly, gay. It is gay. Growing up in my generation, it means stupid, right? It's the gayest thing I've ever heard. I'm just trying to just be a little bit an uplifted spirit, because I thought this is pretty cool and it's adorable. And also, I used to have crushes on robotic characters growing up. Not to mention, after Y2K, right? The early 2000s was a dark era for us. Okay? Like, think about cartoons, The Grim Adventures of Billy Mandy, Invader Zim. Right? That's the name too. You know how it has a dark yet gothic atmosphere, because that's how we lived back then? After 9/11, right? Yeah, I lived through that. Okay, and not to mention technology was pretty advanced. Okay, but the GameCube and basically, the cell phones being made, we basically got the iPod Shuffle, etc. It was a different time back then. Graphics getting better. Things becoming a little bit more robotic. Okay, if you know what I mean. Literally, and I was a child. Okay. And also, just to share one thing, at Walmart, I saw this this is in the past, like maybe during the end of COVID, which is like a few plus years ago. Then I saw this little cute robot thing that's inside Walmart. No one was damaging it. I have a video of it. I know I do somewhere. I think it was the cutest thing I've ever seen. Robots are supposed to help us, even though, like, maybe because I see this from like a Buddhist, Shinto point of view, even though I practice Goku spirituals because of people that give me support. I like to say I'm a Goku Buddhist spiritist, right? Because I kind of believe reincarnation and support of other people, right? I know, that sounds weird. Okay, whatever. Agnostic Buddhist, okay? Literally, but with a spiritist side, right? Just think about Dragon Ball. I'm sorry, I love Dragon Ball. You forgot, didn't you? You did. Oh, my Buddha, I forgot! I just cannot see myself just damaging a machine that helps us, right? It's the same way if you're damaging a human. I know, it's weird. And by the way, I wanted to share this, okay? This is why I love Japan so much. And for the ones that don't know much about Japan, that's okay. That is totally okay. Just don't be surprised that you may be a little bit shocked by their culture compared to your own culture. That in some Japanese, they would do apologize to objects. I kind of do that myself. Or at least not mistreating objects. Maybe that's why Japan is like all tidy and caring, I guess. I don't know. Compared to like some other countries that they have so much damn trash on the ground, which is awful. Unless they're overpopulated. Right? It's like that. Okay? And you wonder why they keep in check. Okay, not to mention, of course, the downside is, well, they have a high suicide rate and girls get creeped on, sadly, right, by boys and whatnot, and, you know, it's a different society because that's how they live. You know, versus, let's just say, if you're in Nigeria, that you had to live in slums and basically, well, getting killed if you're being gay because, oh, they think about the poo-poo or something, right? You know, Nigeria is a beautiful country. I know it is. You know, us human beings, we're not going to be... We all need to treat each other equally here, regardless of us being treated unequally. Okay? Or living unequally. So, basically, what I'm trying to say is that for technology like this, it would help a lot of humans. Okay? I think it's pretty cool. Literally. Not to mention, I want to share one thing about that rainbow thing. I think it's really cool, especially for women that may feel uncomfortable around other men. You know, because my mother told me about this, that she feels more comfortable around a female driver than a male one. Does that make her racist? Hell no. It's just that she feels more comfortable. I didn't know my mother felt that way. Right? And that's by a Lyft or Uber driver that she basically took. It was a black woman, by the way. I think it was like a Buick car that she drove. I don't know. Right? Something like that. And let's just say we're already advanced technology that for people... You know, especially like mothers with their own, like they have young children. They didn't want to feel safe, right? They could basically take that. Especially how in some underdeveloped countries, especially the Middle East example, that they get mistreated, you know? And yet we want to complain that, oh, like the thing is, okay, again, it depends on the type of technology. Like for me, this is awesome. I would never buy 20 grand for a robot, even if I had the money. Because one... Maybe because I feel guilty because I don't want to cheat. It's not being treated as a slave because robots, they're made by us. And the funny thing is, from a autistic human point of view, we act like robots ourselves. You know why? Because we got neurons in our brain that sends us messages to our bodies. Especially when we touch the stove like, ah! Like, oh, electric, compute, hot, right? We're just like in flesh, but we act like robots ourselves, but we're not. You know what I mean, right? Neurons. Hello, I watched Jimmy Neutron growing up. If you're not seen it, 11 out of 10, highly suggested. And not to mention, 2001, 2002-ish, look at the graphics. Okay? Literally, back then, yeah. Okay? It was a different time back then. Literally, we were in the 3D phase at that time because it's after 9/11 or during that time. Okay, literally. Not to mention, I want to add one other thing. We will be colonizing Mars in or at least around that year. At least maybe 2047, hopefully. Because of Matt Groening that basically did an episode of The Simpsons when Marge and Lisa were living in this dome in Mars. And they got restaurants and they got a home. And basically Lisa has a robot, right? That's supposed to have some emotions. I can see that happening. Oh yeah, if Matt Groening did predict the 9/11, you know, it's not fully accurate. It did happen, right? The coronavirus, that happened, even though it was supposed to happen in Japan, not China, right? Still happened. And then basically the Amazon rainforest that's being cut down, you know, that happened. Because this dies, who knows, Buddha forbid, of Burma's beans of hope, of how many acres that I do not want to basically be cut down, etc. Okay? Etc. And, you know, we have a long way to go. I would love to visit Japan. Absolutely. Well, anywhere in Asia. Are you kidding me? Even the poorest countries of Asia. I don't care. Well, maybe one I won't visit is Brunei because of how the way they treat gay people, and I know the leader might be a little bit of a handful. But I don't know. Also, I just want to notice half of my viewers that I showed on my TikTok, even though I can't see anymore because my MacBook is obsolete because it says it's the feature to upload is unavailable. Half of my viewers, you know, they click off anyway. I don't know. Which, let's see, over 680 of my viewers are, yeah, I have over 680 of them. 66% of them or something are male, which is pretty awesome. Like the video, well, I'm sure that's probably from that video that I shared of me saving a little insect. It was like an adorable black bug. Because I don't want to kill it. Hell no, why would I? You know, same way that I want to abuse a machine, less, well, it's just giving my nerves. But yeah, it's just something I just want to share because another anime that I did watch is Eden Zero. By the way, Shiki's hot as hell. I should have just used that. Deon, you know what? I should have used that. I might just use that as the thumbnail. I don't know. Look it up. It's basically like a future sequel of Fairy Tale, kinda. When you got this really sexy boy named Shiki, okay? That basically is friends with robots to help him on his journey, and he befriended a girl named Rebecca. It's kind of like a different version of Natsu and Lucy. Fairy Tale, okay? Remember, that's a good anime, and then the one I just said just now is Eden Zero. They're basically the same universe, kind of. But it's about, like, machines of how the way that Shiki basically has care for them. I know, I'm so nutty. Maybe it's because I don't take technology for granted, right? I had this MacBook for years. Yes, it's old, it's outdated. But without it, how the heck would I be supporting my mother, my brother, and her boyfriend, our pops? Because I do want to make money off of this channel and doing something with my life. But this is all I have. But I'm not taking for granted, am I? Regardless of how dirty it is. It's still a good gadget. Yes, there are days, and even tonight, it'll get me on my nerves. But I still use it. Because I'll go, man, mentally insane if I don't have a MacBook, right? Not be able to go outside because, well, we got evicted against our will, and I still want to earn my house back. So I know I've been talking for a half hour. I can't help it. I'm sobbing a bit. Sorry about that. But I just wanted to... Oh, the right, hon. Right. It's alright. I just wanted us to share this because of Asmongold's reaction. It really made me curious because, you know, after reading some of the comments, there's something else. And I think one thing that does bother me, if that's the case, is if the robots are basically used by people in other countries, like, let's just say underdeveloped countries, I wouldn't like that because still people, depending on the country, let's just say they're from Bangladesh or they're maybe from... Venezuela, or I don't know, Burundi, right? Or perhaps I don't know, Romania. Like this one is really poor. Well, okay, Romania maybe doesn't count. Okay, that I have a problem with because, well, these should just be actual robots that basically have voice technology, not with actual people like from another line or something. Not to mention if you get your privacy invaded, that won't be okay, you know, literally. But that's just me. What I'm just trying to say is that us humans, though, sometimes we do take technology for granted, and it bugs me. It does. If I had a decent, better MacBook right now, all my videos would be much better. I have much more fun, and my mental health would be much better. But this is all I have right now. This is all I have, you know. So, you know, we're doing our best to advance. Slowly each year. I prefer my Mexican housekeeper. I'm not sure if I should laugh or I think that's offensive. What do y'all think? Okay, for the ones that are arenas all the way, okay, especially Mexicans, right? Because, you know, like, they're known for being maids. If you find that offensive, type a... Yeah, you can't think of one. You can't. If you find it offensive, type in a ghost emoji. If you don't find it offensive, type in a robot emoji. Because you don't mind robots. Or... Ah, fuck it. Whatever. Anyway, I'm rambling way too long. Okay, I know there's other stuff because I haven't finished the video yet since I'm only at the 21-minute mark and there's practically 12 minutes left. I just want to share this because I think this is really cool, right? I think it is. You know, there's other types of technologies that we basically have that I don't even know that we even have. You know, I think it's awesome. Heck, I think it's pretty awesome that we got Tesla. You know, I know people don't like Teslas, right? Not that robotic box, whatever thing that Elon Musk invented, but the other Teslas. I think they're pretty cool, right? Especially if you basically... Oh, one more thing. Talking about technology, I like how where I'm from, because we are one of the sunniest places on Earth. We are, actually. Well, at least in Yuma, so basically we are. We got a lot of sunny days a year. We have sunroofs. Because we're supposed to basically build up energy instead of using a lot of electricity. I like that. Not to mention, I watched a lot of Dr. Stone, too, during COVID. So yeah, I just wanted to get this out of my stomach. What do all of you think? Also, I miss Wesley a lot. I do. And oh, you know what? Before I do this, for the ones that are still listening, I'm gonna see, because it's not like I checked his account, but I want to see if he basically following anyone. Because I thought I could just get this while I get this out of my system, and then I'll probably talk about the live stream maybe. Because he was, let's see, he was following. He has 2 followers, but he's following people. Ugh, it actually makes sense. Okay, so he hasn't followed anyone. That was weird. But I just had to share this because I just feel hurt. Anyway, I miss that boy a lot. But thank you so much for listening. It means a lot. One more thing I do want to add, okay? What type of technology do you like that we have today? Microwaves, vacuum cleaners, TVs, the Nintendo consoles, like any type of anything that has to do with technology that you like. That's your homework for this video or tonight.